Walter, you know it's that time of the year, right?
Yes.
Time to plant that garden, right?
Yes, my time of year.
I know you like this time of the year. So how do we get started with planting that garden?
Well, first I would like to just point out that some people always ask questions about when to plant, what to plant, and all that.
Right.
And there's some nice little tools out there to help you. The first tool I want to talk about is these type of calendars that you see here that you can pick up at feed stores, or if you live in an area with a feed store, or even a funeral home. Now, you know, you can go by the funeral home and talk about planting. They'll plant you, so you can look at that. But anyway, it's basically the almanac type calendars. Some people have a lot of fun planting by the almanac and all of that, and have a lot of fun with it. So, you know, but we can't recommend these as a professional per se. But this other one I can.
Oh, yeah,
and this is probably one of the best tools that I've ran across in a long time, that the University of Tennessee Institute of Ag have developed a Tennessee home vegetable garden calendar for 2018. And it even breaks it down into the regions, because, you know, our state is basically three big grand divisions. And it tells you what to plant, when to plant, just all types of little tidbits. So weather dates, all of that in there. So that's a very good item to have.
Yeah, it's the ultimate cheat sheet.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. But getting back to planting the garden, there's basically four big reasons why you should plant a garden. First, of course, is site selection. You want to make sure that you pick an area that's going to, you know, have sunlight for at least 6 hours, a minimum of 6 hours. Most vegetable crops really like at least 8 hours, really 8 hours of sunlight to really produce well. Also, you want to get a site that has a southern facing slope, because that will warm up quicker than a northern facing slope. So you can plant quicker in that ground. And also you want a site that's near the home where you can kind of manage it. You know, you don't have a lot of garden hose stretched all across the backyard or whatever. So, you know, you have it there nearby, and also just having it close at hand, I think, also help with predator prevention, because, you know, obviously, you know, if the garden's closer to the house, deer tend to stay away from just right up next to the house. You know, they'll kind of stay away from there. So you're kind of helping yourself out in that regard. Another reason that having a plan it's going to help you decide what to grow. You need to, but by having that site, you may understand that I may be limited. I may have homes shading my entire yard on each side of me. You know, we have some of these homes there that are built so close together. Or you may be near a tree line or a shrub line or whatever. So you need to make sure you can plant plants that can tolerate that competition with those shrubs or whatever. And also you may want to grow a few more beans in those shady areas, because they can handle the shade. Also, if you're near a lattice or something like that, next, like I have by my deck, I can plant pole beans because they can run up the lattice. You can also plant cucumbers because they can run up and hang, and they won't, you know, rot on the ground.
Make it easy to pick, too,
Yes, yes. And also, you know, you can also set up that crop rotation. Because you can, where you had your beans and peas last year, by having a plan, you can come in and plant your tomatoes and sweet corn in those spots. Because those beans and peas are legume crops, which is going to fix nitrogen in the soil, and it'll be there available for the sweet corn and the tomatoes, which are two nitrogen-loving crops, to, you know, to have that nitrogen there. So that will work. Another reason is, well, it's kind of, I led into it, is the rotation. If you're going to garden, you must rotate your crop groups, because it's going to help you cut down on all your diseases and insect pressures. And if you can plant a spot where you can say, well, this year I'm going to plant the cucurbit stuff over here, or I'm going to plant the legumes here, and then rotate over, that just saves you so much time on pest control and weed control and all those types of things, disease control even. And also by having a garden plan brings me to my fourth point, would be you can plant cover crops.
Uh-huh.
You can go out there, you can plant like some veg or some red clover, all those type of plants that can, again, put nitrogen into the soil. They can serve there as a cover crop. That's what they're doing even in the big row crop situations. They plant a lot of cover crops.
Okay.
And it's going to hold the soil in place. So there's all kind of good reasons to plant your gardens.
Okay. Do those cover crops have to be tilled under?
Yes, you will want to till them under. Get out there, and just chop it up and till it in and let it decay. And also if you get a good winter season or whatever, where we have a lot of freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing, that would kind of help break up some of that stuff as well, make that soil real good and fertile, for the upcoming year.
And what about planting some of those crops that may shade out some of those other crops? I mean, we need to be careful about that as well, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
because obviously if you plant some sweet corn, you don't want to have it positioned in the field where it's going, or the garden where it's going to shade out something like squash that really loves that sunlight, that needs that sunlight. You don't need that sweet corn there shading it out. Basically, you're hurting yourself, with production factors there.
Okay. What are some good warm season crops to plant, of course, after you get those cool season crops out?
Yes. Oh, well, of course, your squash, cucumbers, sweet corn, your sweet potatoes, okra, which is everybody's favorite.
Right.
Well, it's my favorite. So, all those types of crops, can be planted.
Okay.
Once your cool season crops out. And that's another reason you do plant a garden, because you can plan to have your cool season crops as well as your warm season crops.
Okay. And again, some of those crops that you just have to harvest once.
That's
I mean,
right.
what are some of those?
Okay, like
And I know you just named a few, but
that's right.
are there more?
Obviously, sweet corn, sweet potatoes. You harvest that once. A watermelon, pretty much.
Okay.
Once that's it. They don't grow anymore. Those are the type of crops that you want to put. Where you understand we're only going to come in there one time.
Right.
You want that in the area that's not going to be, I guess, conducive to a lot of traffic and whatever, because they like to be left alone. Particularly things like cantaloupes and. They just like to be left over there. They don't want you bumping all up against those vines.
Right.
So therefore, you're not, damaging them by going in. They only harvest it once.
Once. Okay. Now let's back up for a second. What about that soil? What about that soil test?
Yes, make sure you get the soil test. We really prefer you to do it in the fall because just in case if you need to add some lime to the soil, you can put that down in the fall, because calcium, it usually takes it about 4 or 5 months before it's made available for the plant to take up. So if you can put it down in the fall, you're in better shape.
Okay.
And also you can add your organic matter there in the fall or throughout the winter, and have that manure and that mushroom compost that people buy and everything.
Right.
You can have all that stuff being worked in, tilled in. The earthworms will be going to work and taking care of business. And come March or April or whatever, when you start planting, there you go.
Ready to go.
You're ready to go.
All right, quickly, what about using fertilizers? When should we fertilize?
Well, you basically fertilize. You can fertilize at planting to kind of get things, up and going. And then a lot of soil tests will tell you to come back and add, some nitrogen later on in the season, particularly something like tomatoes and sweet corn. They like to have that additional nitrogen applied later on in the season to go ahead on and bump out those yields and make you have a lot to give away.
And that's according to the soil test?
That's according to the soil test.
Walter, we appreciate that. Good information.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.